Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Startup Saturday with our guest, Vandana Suri, founder Taxshe. Vandana, welcome.
Thank you so much. Sunday morning, good time to do all this.
We are worried that you will get interruptions from Swiggy and Zomato. My first question to you, Vandana, is I'm your I'm interested in your startup, and I say, Vandana, tell me what problem are you solving for the world?
I think I'm teaching women to avoid the Swiggy guys on the road. Okay, let me show you the larger picture. Avoiding Swiggy guys on the road is just a step to get there. What we do is that we want a safe ecosystem for women and kids. Okay, and we're trying to create that through the mobility segment. uh, Look at the situation today where people will talk about cars, electric vehicles. Mobility means, all these, but nobody talks about safety. And that's what we are trying to solve here. 53%, these are recorded numbers, 53% of our children are facing sexual abuse. Most of them, uh, when out of sight of their parents, of course. 91% of women feel unsafe in public transport. So somebody's got to talk about safety, and that's what Taxi is out here to do. Safe mobility solutions for women and kids. That's what we do.
You came to be a startup founder after your life experiences and your work experiences. What in your earlier avatar prepared you for being the founder of Taxi?
Ah, two things. I think just like any other woman in the globe, possibly, I've been touched wrong many, many times. I think we lose count at some point of time ke and किसको जाके complain करे कितनी बार complain करे, right? So uh, accepting abuse in that way becomes a part of life, and वो तो अंदर से it keeps brooding and boiling, and everybody's trying to figure out how to get it. It's a menace. That's one thing. The second thing I think is I was always the non-conformist. I had to do something. I always have my foot in my mouth. I don't shut up. And I think that quality is actually, while the rest of the world says, be diplomatic, and that's the good way to be, I think being mopart and being bold is a better option of living life. So I've the so-called negativity of mopart is actually working better for something like Taxi, which needs a revolution. So people who have kids who talk too much, don't bottle them down. Maybe there's a leader in them. You never know.
So you channeled your anger in a
Yep.
positive way to create this,
Yeah.
and your rage
Yeah.
at something that had happened, which sparked off, I think, the
Yes.
need
Yep.
that and the sense of urgency to start
Yep.
Taxi, Vandana.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
where did you start? Who supported you initially? Where did the money come from? How did you ideate? Tell us a little bit about what did you put on paper when you were creating Taxi?
I had a couple of co-founders who joined me, Hemlata and Manjula, from one of the women entrepreneur groups I was part of.
Hmm.
Um, and we started off actually with a bang, saying, "Okay, let's do this." I put a Facebook post and I got some 3,000 messages and calls there that day that, listen, we want these services. So,
Hmm.
market test happened through Facebook.
Right.
However, my co-founders did not continue with me for more than a month. They just realized I think I'm too wacko for them to handle, and they moved out. So a month of our incorporation, I was literally like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" So then I brought in my mom as a replacement director and shareholder, and then we started off again.
Hmm.
But that first 1 month gave me a look of what startup can be, and never looked back. My brother's part of the business now, and he's been a very big support. He handles the entire operations behind. So I guess we have a whole family. As
Wow.
far as money was concerned, we got funded. a small amount, but by family and friends. And I guess they really knew how gutsy and bold I was, and they knew कि ये कर लेगी. And that faith, I really didn't. They just knew I was mad enough. So madness is a asset.
Very, very important. And you went on to start training, because one is knowing to drive, but how
Yeah,
do you create a platform or a
yeah.
community of drivers? And tell me, is how digitally forward is your setup? What is it that you have brought in as far as the digital, the tech piece?
Nothing much as far as the tech piece is concerned. I want to focus on relationships. See, at Taxshe as a business model, so we have two. We have one which is a cab model, where we drop kids and pick up them from schools and tuitions. And that actually involves a lot of conversations with parents.
Hmm.
How does a digital app solve this? They can nothing can replace relationships. Okay, so I'm an ex investment banker, and in my banking career, I I think that was our strength, the way we talk to clients. And
Hmm.
here we are talking of parents who are trying to protect their children, and
Correct.
husbands whose wives are getting out. So relationship management is a very big thing, and I think
Right.
somewhere an app discounts the whole thing. The other bit is we train women how to drive. So I run a vertical called Taxi Breakfree where we train women to drive. अब इसको मैं क्या digital करूँ? I have to individually train one person at a time. It's not like a YouTube video which will give you the expertise.
Right.
Again, since we have women coaching women how to drive, oh my God, the conversations are so girly. The conversations are so fun. The conversations are so much gossip. The conversations are so much sharing your heart out in those driving sessions. So where is the? Uh, I think technology will discount it. You know what I'm saying? Plus, we have way much more demand than we can service. So if I
Hmm.
have an app where I'm constantly telling you, no, I don't have availability, no, I don't have availability, it's going to bring a bad image for me. My
Ah,
branding goes down. So I
right.
think this as of now is good. I don't know how technology could better it, and if somebody has any ideas how you think it could better it, let me know. But from my little head here, I think this is good. The
But
individual
despite
approach.
that, yeah, despite it being so relationship oriented and so bespoke, you've
Yeah,
still managed to expand. How do you crack
absolutely.
that? How did you crack the expansion within a people forward, relationship rich, and training intense industry?
I got more mad women like me into the system. As simple as that. So, during the pandemic, pandemic threw up a lot of bad days and good days for us. Bad days was we went to zero. Our cabs was totally scraped off from the charts. We were at zero business. I had to let go of my entire team and then post pandemic restart again with a very tricky small team. But during the pandemic, we started training women how to drive, and that took on really well because people were scared to sit in a cab. People had families at home, and they couldn't get to the doctors and hospitals in time with COVID because they couldn't drive. Now that business opportunity came up, and the seesaw went up again. So that's when I realized that I must get more women. I must get more Vandana Suris. I'm sure women relate to what I speak. So I reached out to corporate women who lost their jobs and I said, hey, listen, if you know how to drive, come on overboard, come on here, and I will teach you how to train somebody. Now so I started taking a hub and spoke model of franchise partners across the country. And these women in turn on one hand started training customers how to drive on their cars, on the other hand started training marginalized communities how to drive.
Mhm.
Again, uh, the essence of that feminism that continues in our organization went through this leadership level, and that's how we expanded. No tech yet.
And today, what's the footprint? Where are you at this point
uh,
as we speak?
Yeah, so we are in Bangalore, we are in Gurgaon, we are in Mumbai, and I am now next going to Hyderabad. So, ladies who all are as kick-ass as me and want to do something different from Hyderabad and Chennai, call. Okay, I'll come and meet you. I'm coming next December, I'm going to Hyderabad, and January, I'm planning a trip to Chennai. And slowly, again, I don't want to do ads. I don't want to do these video calls. I want to go in person
Yeah.
because that vibe is so, the intent is so obvious, right? And I think women bond when you meet. That's the way it
And have you
works.
tied up with any organizations that enable these meetups and can have
Yeah,
a
I
community that can come together to?
yeah, we are. So basically, the way this works for us all the time is that I put up a post on social media, and
Okay.
invariably somebody or the other connects the dots for me. It's so beautiful. I mean, I
Wow.
went for a World Bank award to Washington a few years back, and there also I didn't know anybody in Washington and New York. I knew no one. I mean, it's a different country, and all I had to do was put up a post that, listen, is there somebody I can meet up there? And boom, I was blocked with meetings. A lot of women, somebody saying, okay, I could do this for you. It was so nice. You're just meeting strange women from everywhere, and you start making your own family across. So I know that the society wants this to really expand, and invariably, somebody or the other, one good Samaritan connects the dots. That's how it goes.
So um, you know, you have these women who reach out to you. Have
Yeah.
you found some attributes that make you say, yes, this will work, or some things which give you a red flag to say, I don't think this is going to work? Because you've had two co-founders, didn't work out. Now you know formulae of what works, what doesn't work. Have you?
I I've actually started believing that what doesn't work has something good and better to come out of it. It's the times where you faced a wall. A few days later, you realize why you faced the wall, because another door had to open up.
Yeah.
So I feel this is like destiny. It will plant its obstructions for you to change your route. I
Hmm.
think that's fabulous, right?
Yeah.
Something up there is telling me I don't even have to analyze. I don't really break my head why things are not working. If it's not working, okay, there must be something else written. And
Yeah.
I think that's the best way that it has worked out for me. I know that there's something else written. I'm a very strong believer in that. So it doesn't deters me anymore. No.
So Vandana, Taxshe has a very unique branding. The way you've got your kangaroo, you've got the little baby Roo, you've got Taxshe beneath, you've used. So how did you go about the whole branding piece? Take a minute to tell us about that.
So I was sitting when we incorporated the company. Again, I didn't want to go on those logo maker websites. Okay, it doesn't work. Somehow it's way too professional, and like I like the softer side. So I sat with my co-founders. Then I said, what is this animal? Maybe we can use an animal as a logo, and somebody who's mommy type, and still somebody who's strong enough to beat the shit out of people. And then that's when this the kangaroo came in, and then it was a woman segment, so then the pink color came in. And we literally got this logo designed by somebody I knew for like 3,000 bucks. Like, can we do this? So cute. I mean, people are spending 1,122 lakhs on a logo. We got it done in 3,000 rupees. It was so nice. It's just about conveying your idea to the guy, and it gets done. Very cute. So I think this motherhood thing is very involved with what we do. Everything I do has motherhood. When I was in college, and people asked me what I wanted to be, and everybody was saying, CA, ye, wo, doctor, blah, blah. I went ahead and mere muh se nikal aaya, I want to be a mother. And people laughed at me and they said, you know what? Motherhood is not a career, man. I said, yeah, but somehow I think that's what I like. And today I've made a career out of motherhood, right? So
See,
what you speak,
amazing.
you put out in the universe and it comes back to you.
Yeah,
And here
yeah.
I am.
The name Taxshe, how did that
Yep.
come out? What were the names you were considering, and how did you zero in on Taxshe?
Nothing. We just हमने taxi को taxi बना दिया. That's it. So I'll tell you. The thing is that this is like a love affair. Okay. I mean, you can date a lot of people. All right. But um when you know you've met the one, you know there's no
Right.
science and logic around it. So it's the same thing with business, I think. When you know that this is what you want to do, there's no stopping you. When you know that this is the right word, the right logo, it just comes together. There is there is seriously no science around it. नहीं तो वो बढ़ेगा ही नहीं, मुझे लगता है.
So you were a, you know, today you have startup founders who start with very little life experience and work experience. They start really, really young. What is the wisdom, just of living life, that you would like to leave with young people who are thinking of this being their first ever thing that they'll do in life?
I think youngsters, first of all, should not start up immediately as the first thing in life. They need to go under the grind. They need to work in organizations and understand what it is to work in a team, to be constrained, to have that bickering boss you hate, so that you don't become one again when you start your own startup. I keep telling that to my son. Says, you don't like this guy, right? He's working part time with somebody right now, and there are times where he's almost willing to throw in the towel. And I said, you know what? Learn this now. This is what you don't like, and when you start up, you should not have. That's point number one. Point number two is business ideas. And I was talking to a college a few days back, and I told them the same thing. I said, get into a startup mode if there is something, some idea you just can't get sleep over. You need to be thinking that 24/7. It needs to be calling. You need to get that calling. It's seriously like falling in love. You know, you fall in love, you can't stop it. Your startup has to be the same way. It just can't be a business and all the charts and just Excels that look good. Until you don't have the driving force, do not start a startup. You have to be mad enough.
So the very last piece I'm going to ask you is very quickly. Taxi is for its team first or customers first?
I think it's team first. Because if my girls are not happy, I can't, they'll be leaving the job any minute and going. So where's the customer going to get the service? I Our entire business model revolves around my girls, my drivers, my trainers. That's why we don't drive men, because I am at risk. किसी की सर पे लिखा नहीं है he's safe. Sorry guys, but this is the reality we live in. And so I drive only women and children. The business model is designed around going on specific timings to pick up children, drop them to school, stopping child sexual abuse there. It's motherhood. It's actually all woven around my resource. If she's not happy, this will not sustain anyways. Customers' demand, of course, is there, but just for the sake of a customer demand, if my resource is not happy, it will not work. So it goes team first, customer next.
If Vandana Suri made a film, what would she make a film on?
क्या बनाऊं मैं? मुझे तो लगता है मैं स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियन बन जाऊंगी. There's so much fun in what I do, and people only see the serious side. It's my dream to start a stand-up comedy on how empowering women can be so much comedy in its own self, and it's seriously fun. I'd like to put a light movie. Somebody write a movie on me. Come on, you won't be at you. The stories I get every day. Little kids coming with that little finger, Auntie, I got hurt, and the whole story behind that little finger hurt. The stories that come out in my cars when we are training women how to drive, 20, 30 hours we spend with them. Oh my God. I would seriously, you would be laughing your guts out seeing a movie like that.
When they put you on the Time magazine cover, what will that
Ah,
line be? What is the caption going to be?
uh, investment banker turned taxi driver. It will sell. The story will sell. I got a World Bank and a UNDP award being an investment banker turned taxi driver. Investment banking में तो इतना बड़ा award नहीं मिला ना, पर taxi driver बन के मिल गया.
मुझे लगा तुम फिल्म का जवाब वही दोगी, टैक्सी ड्राइवर. Vandana Suri, what a joy to talk to you always. Thank you very much for coming and doing Startup Saturday with me. And I'm recording on Saturday or Sunday
Oh,
actually, but it's okay. It's a weekend.
yeah.
Your
Thank you
busy
so
time,
much.
your busy time also.
No is the most relaxed time. I'm out on the roads. I'm actually sitting at home and able to do that. Otherwise, I'm training somebody or the other. This is actually a relaxed time for me. Thank you so much for doing this on a weekend, on a Sunday. Thank you so much for having me here, Deepa.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you.
Bye
More power to you.
bye.
Power on.